Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hi, everybody. This is Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. I'm happy to be back, and I am in the studio with Integrity Training Systems personal yoga therapist, Rachel Jones. She has been working with us for probably, I guess, about, a while now, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say 6 months, but I feel like it's been longer than that.
It's been a few over that.
A little bit over 6 months. And so we brought her on the show because I've been experiencing some swelling in my body, and I've talked about it a little bit. But I wanted to break it down a little bit more and really talk about some of the therapy that Rachel has been offering at Integrity, and just kind of open your mind to the possibility of how you could maybe free yourself of some health issues maybe that you're dealing with, all by just simply opening the body up, calming the nervous system down. And then we're going to spend some time a little bit later just talking about that nervous system almost in greater detail. But first, I want to just introduce Rachel. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So we call you a yoga therapist. I call you my guru who made me well. I would just randomly in March last year, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I got this like 3-day sort of flu thing. And I personally don't really miss a lot of work. Most people that know me, the only reason I miss work is if my dog is sick. And if, a dog, I've usually had a lot of older dogs. So if my dog is getting to a place where they're passing away, I will miss a week's worth of work to spend time with them. But most of the people that work with me know I really don't cancel work. Well, I had to cancel 3 days worth of work. I couldn't really get out of bed because whenever I would go to get out of bed, I felt like I was going to get sick. And I didn't have a running nose. I didn't have a cough. I didn't have anything like that. My stomach just felt kind of sore to touch. And I felt very, very nauseous, like I was going to throw up whenever I'd get out of bed. So I didn't. I just stayed in bed for 3 days. And then I woke up on Saturday morning and I was like, okay, I'm okay. It's done. I really didn't eat that much. Just kind of drank fluids, just kind of made myself relax. I'm like, okay, I got myself a little bit of a sleep. Didn't really think much of it. All right. I personally have not had COVID that I'm aware of. I have tested more times than I really know how to count, but I have never tested for COVID. So I really haven't been sick in quite a few years. I've been going through a bit of a mold detox for my immune system. But other than that, I haven't had a flu or a cold or a cough or anything like that. Praise the Lord. I'm very thankful for that. But all of the sudden, I go back to work that Saturday, and within the next couple weeks, I found myself just feeling somewhat swollen in my lower belly area. Now, I did go back to work and went back to working long hours because when you miss 3 days work on when you're taking people on an hourly basis, that means you're going to go in early and you're going to stay late for the next, like 2 or 3 weeks,
right.
Which is fine. I was just thankful to get people back in. But I did work long hours the next week, and I don't know why, but I couldn't understand. Like I thought, am I bloated? I mean, is there something that I ate? I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, but I was on a very clean diet. I mean, I really hadn't changed my diet in any way, but my lower belly just kept swelling. Well, after about 30 days of this, and I'm not kidding, it wouldn't go away, I started to get pretty concerned. Mostly because I had had the flu, and I kind of thought, is there something maybe going on that maybe I'm not connecting with? So I went to the doctor felt it, and they just kind of gave me it seems like maybe irritable bowel syndrome. And so, I'm like kind of almost laughing because I'm like I actually do that for a living. I help people with that. Like I would know if I'm having that, But I really was concerned. So I went out, had an ultrasound, like basically of my abdomen. I wanted them to take a look at, all of my, female,
parts. I wanted to, have my spleen looked at, have my stomach looked at, everything, just to be sure that there wasn't like the potential possibility of some type of a tumor or something like that
Sure.
could have just oddly, been there. And now maybe I'm just not aware of it or something. And sure enough, that turned out okay. Everything was okay. Hired a functional medicine doctor, started getting on a protocol. I'm 6 months in, to a protocol with this functional medicine doctor. And of course, she's finding things that she can help me improve, which I'm very thankful for. But none of it is really helping my stomach swelling go down. And so I'm just concerned because at this point, I've had to buy a size pant larger. And no other part of my body feels like it's bigger, but my lower belly really starts to feel bigger. And it was pretty dramatic to where I was pretty uncomfortable all throughout the day. And so I reached out to a client of mine. Her name is April. She owns Detox Yoga right next door. She did some nutrition with me. And so I reached out to her and I said, I know you have a massage therapist there. I've been experiencing some swelling in my lower belly. I'm just wondering if because I sit all day long, if I don't maybe have tight hip flexors. I said hip flexors. And she said, oh, no, Debbie, I think it's your psoas. If it's that swollen, I really think it's your psoas. And this massage therapist that we have, her name's Barbara, she can help you release your psoas. It helped me years ago. And I said, okay, awesome. Hired Barbara, went to her. Barbara's remarkable. She's some sort of miracle massage lady. I mean, I've been getting massage for 20 years, and she did things no one's ever done. And she even really worked on the fascia in my stomach. And even she said, now that is a peculiar amount of fluid in that area. She said, I really have never seen it quite like that. And she said, you also have a lot of heat in the body. And that just basically means inflammation. So Barbara worked on me for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then she said, now you're released to go to the next level, Debbie. And I said, well, what does that mean? Well, you need someone to actually do the fascia work, to do the body work on you. And so ultimately, I went to April and I said, can I hire one of your instructors and just have them privately work with me? But I would love to hire a private instructor to work at Integrity. And she recommended you. I'm curious, I would love, this next segment for us to get into all of the different things that you and I have done. But when I went to hire you, I'm thinking to myself, I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer for over 20 years. I've never released my psoas one day of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm curious, what is your training, first, before we go on to the next segment and really talk about all that we did, what have you done? What makes you a yoga therapist? I think sometimes when people think yoga, they think, I have to stand on one foot. I can't do yoga. They're already ready to turn the radio off. This is not what we've done, because I'm telling you, I didn't think I could do yoga either. So tell me about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to be careful about using the term yoga therapist for two reasons. I think when people hear the word therapist, they think of a mental health therapist, like a therapist. That's not what I am, but I do study psychology and trauma studies at UMSL currently. And for a second reason, because I am also in a yoga therapy program, which is a 4-year program. And essentially what yoga therapy is the separation between teaching a group of individuals yoga, a yoga class, where everyone's doing similar movements, and maybe you're doing a traditional flow or sequence that you might find in many yoga studios. The difference with a yoga therapist is they will take an individual and look at the body systems and the subtle body systems of that individual and see how they may be out of balance or maybe causing issues or maybe causing disease in some way. So a common, and this is interesting because it connects very well with functional medicine.
Yes.
A common model that a yoga therapist will use is called the Panchamaya. And so the Panchamaya understands that every human has 5 layers of their being. And so there's a physical body layer. Everyone has a physical body. And so there's lots of things that could go wrong there. We know that. So what that looks like is a lot of almost like physical therapy, just bringing functional movement back into the body. Can you stand on one leg with out losing your balance. But there's also 4 other layers which encompass, your nervous system.
And I definitely want to go into those. I want to go into each one in great detail. So when we come back from this next break, I want to go from that physical into that nervous system breakdown. And I'm sorry to interrupt you because I really want you to get in depth in that. But we will take this next break and then we will come back and we'll get into those in great detail, because what I really want people to understand is that it goes beyond, like you said, taking a group exercise class. The impact that it can have on your fascia and the impact that it can have on your lymphatic system, the impact it can have on calming the nervous system, setting yourself up to where your muscles are not in such a contracted state is life-altering. It's been life-altering for me, which I will, speak of as we go. But for more information on working with someone like myself on nutrition or someone like Rachel, please take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. And don't forget, for nutrient-dense, gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods, take a look at us at sophiesbakery.com. Hey everybody, this is Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. I am in the studio with yoga therapist Rachel Jones. She is a private instructor at Integrity Training Systems that I've been working with over the past 6 to 8 months to try to release some swelling from my lower belly. We were talking and kind of breaking down the body system. So please go back to where you were.
Yes. So a common model that a yoga therapist will use, it's called the Panchamaya, and it assumes that every human has 5 layers of their being. The first layer is a very tangible layer. It's just our physical body, and so lots of issues can happen here, as we all know. You get a broken arm, your first layer of your body is broken.
Yes.
But then there's deeper layers of the human that we can categorize out, more subtle layers of the human. And so as you move up this model, we go through the physiological layer.
Okay.
So here we see nervous system, we see blood flow, we see the respiratory system. It's all the forces that move in your body and how they can affect your body, and then they can also affect your mind. So as we go up the layer, we find different layers of the mind and how stress and emotion and thought can affect the lower layers. If we are very stressed, that's affecting our nervous system in a very particular way.
Right.
And when the nervous system understands that we're stressed, it's affecting the body in a very particular way.
Absolutely.
Which then causes more issues.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So as you have gone through this particular training, the idea is that we can take a person from a one-on-one perspective, not so much a large yoga class, and we can kind of center in on an issue, using myself as an example. Mm-hmm. I came in thinking, well, let's just release my psoas and then I'll be ready to leave, right? Like we can just get this part of my body loosened up and we'll be ready to leave. The thing is that it was just it went so far beyond that. What we started with was breathing. Mm-hmm. We made a connection to breathing, and although I would say I know the importance of breathing because I'm a personal trainer and obviously I don't want anyone holding their breath through a movement, mm-hmm. I by no means knew the depth of the change that could occur in my body when I have the right breathing. I would really like for you to talk about, just that approach. I mean, we took we basically just went on a little breathing trip the first time I met with you. Like, That's what we did the whole time. Mm-hmm. I left feeling energized. I left feeling calm. I left feeling circulation in areas where I didn't feel. And we really were not even stretching. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like we'd even started, putting me in a position. It was just about breath work. So can you open the door to breath work a little bit, which I feel like is kind of like that foundation?
Yeah.
I can show a person how to do a yin yoga pose, but if they're not really breathing themselves mm-hmm. through it, or they haven't found a way to calm things down, they're probably stressing themselves more than helping themselves.
Exactly. Yes. The breath is very underestimated of how powerful it can be.
Absolutely.
And it's that way because it is our key into our nervous system.
I like
So,
that. That's
yes.
yes, that's so true.
It is in a lot of ways because our nervous system, at least the autonomic nervous system, which is all of the automatic functions in your body.
Yes.
So all of the things that you're sitting here right now not thinking of functioning in your body, so your heart beating, your digestive organs functioning in a lot of ways. When we blink, we don't really think of that. All of the things that just happen automatically, your nervous system is doing that for you.
Yes.
And your nervous system decides how it wants to operate based on how safe it does feel or does not feel.
Yes.
So if your nervous system for some reason thinks that you are in a stressful situation or maybe you're in danger, it's going to start beating your heart in a certain way. It's going to make you breathe in a certain way. It's going to regulate your body temperature in a certain way.
Yes.
So that it can keep you safe, right? That's a very primitive function that all humans have. Breathing is one of those functions that is automatic. We don't have to think about doing it. We can sit here and breathe, and we breathe when we're sleeping. We don't think that we're doing it. It just happens. It's one of those functions that is automatic, but we can also choose to take conscious control over it if we want to at any moment.
Right.
So we could all sit here right now and very consciously think about the way that we're breathing and change it. And because it lives in both areas, it's automatic and we have control over it, we can use it as kind of like a key into the nervous system.
Yes.
So maybe your body is going throughout its day very stressed. You have a big stressful day at work, whatever it may be, and your body understands that you're in stress. Your mind might not think that, but your body does not feel good.
Right.
And I'm sure we all kind of experience that
Yes.
throughout the day. Your
Yes.
back's talking to you, your shoulders talking to you, whatever it may be.
But my mind's stronger than my body. I mean it. My mind will work way more hours
Oh, yeah.
than my body is really supposed to.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And that goes into this function
Mhm,
because a lot of times, if mind and body aren't talking to each other,
Right.
one will win over the other, and that means the other one's kind of taking a hit.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. Yes.
And that's what breath can help us do, is open up that communication again,
yes.
because we're consciously with the mind understanding how we're breathing and what that signal of breathing is telling us about how our bodies feel, how our
Exactly.
nervous systems feel.
Yeah, that is so good. And I feel for me, when we connected with the breath work, all of the sudden it was like, whoa, like at any point in my day, I can actually take over how my body is feeling. And I've been through some pretty traumatic events in my life.
Mhm.
And even recently, in the past 6 months, and I was able to just kind of take it to a completely different level because of the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, like I said, just feeling that change of circulation, feeling my muscles, I think, not be so contracted. And so when we kind of start what we are doing together, where we try to get me into a specific pose or a specific position so that we can open my body up, the breath is what allows my muscles to not be so just extremely fired up the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm meeting with Rachel, she'll say, okay, let's take a minute to find your breath. And I think what she's saying is, could you stop seizing every single one of your muscles for a moment so that we can actually get into the position?
Exactly.
Because I'm going to get in the position, but my shoulders are up to my ears
Mhm.
and my back's turned around, forward, and everything's just super flexed and tight because I've been, a weight trainer for, 30 years. And so I just have this natural tendency to be bound up. But then I sit and then I tell myself, okay, you don't need to connect with any of those muscles right now. The only thing you need to connect with is the breath. And when I do that, all of a sudden, this calm comes over my body and this calm comes over my muscles. I would like to talk on the next segment about just genuinely what that does to the system, what that does to the body, what that does to the immune system. I feel my immune system has improved because of it. And I'll kind of tap into, explaining that as we go. But there's just so much more to this. I think we will need a few shows to really go into the depths of what we do. In fact, what we came here to talk about, I don't even know if we will talk about because we'll have so much to talk about. So for more information on what Rachel Jones does at Integrity Training Systems, you can take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For more information on a 6-month nutrition program or an online master's nutrition program, don't forget to take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com. And for gluten-free, nutrient-dense, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your doorstep, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. Everybody, this is Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. I am in the studio with yoga therapist Rachel Jones. She's a private therapist who works with clients at Integrity Training Systems on fascia release, on breath work, calming the nervous system, just getting the body back into balance. And what I feel like she's done with me is truly, I don't know that I've ever been in balance. I think, I've been a bodybuilder. I am a nutrition coach. I've been in fitness for almost 30 years. I don't honestly think I've ever found this type of Zen feeling that I've never been able to accomplish this type of balance in my body, mind, body, spirit. I could say mind, body, spirit because I'm actually a very spiritual person. But I don't know. I've never been able to calm myself in a manner like I have now. Now, I will say I have been able to release circulation in areas that were blocked. I've noticed, and I know for certain I had areas that were very much blocked. And the swelling in my lower belly has decreased, I would say, by 50%. I would say at the point at which I was at the largest, someone might have questioned if I was pregnant. It was that swollen. Which is just absolutely terrible. But I had blockages. I could just feel it, And so my circulatory system, I don't know, it's transforming as we speak right now. There's just a whole different level of circulation, but also my lymphatic system. And then, of course, that ends up improving my nervous system, but as well as my immune system. So I'd like for you to kind of drive off, in that direction.
Sure. And it all makes sense because there's 3 systems in the body that are global. And what I mean by global is that if you were to take all of your bones and all of your muscles and all of your skin away, you would still be able to see the exact shape of your body with these 3 systems down to the detail of your ear. So they're very superficial, so they're very close to the skin, but they're also at the deepest layers of you. So they're also holding all of your organs. And they're from the top of your head all the way to your toes. They touch every single thing in your body. They're global. And those 3 systems are fascia, which are the connective tissue. So when you get like a knot in your back, that's what fascia is.
Yes.
It's all over your body. The second one is the nervous system. And then the third one is the circulatory system. So your blood flow and your lymphatic fluid, the way that all of that fluid flows throughout your body. Those 3 systems are global, and they're all intertwined. So your fascia envelops and kind of holds your nervous system and your veins and your circulatory and your lymphatic nodes. It holds all of that together.
Okay.
So when your fascia gets tight, it could literally be squeezing your nervous system,
yes,
or squeezing your veins or the channels in which blood and lymphatic fluid flow throughout your body.
Yes.
So it's almost like kinking a hose.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're kinking that hose, when your tissues are tight, you might end up with fluid buildup. You might end up with inflammation, or perhaps lymphatic fluid is being held in a certain area of your body, and it's not able to flush out.
Which definitely was happening in the lower belly.
Right.
For sure. For
right.
sure.
And it's interesting talking about the lymphatic fluid because the purpose of the lymphatic fluid is to detox. It flushes water throughout your entire system. So if it can't do that, then toxins might be stuck somewhere.
Absolutely.
Stuck
Absolutely.
in your tissues, literally.
Yes. And, in the process, I'm trying to go through basically a mold detox. The functional medicine doctor is trying to pull mold out of my system.
Yeah.
Well, there's all these great ways of pulling things out of your system, but if you're not able to release it, you're going to walk around really sick, You're actually making
Exactly.
yourself worse.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. If you're walking around with it literally stuck in your tissues,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to stay there.
Absolutely.
Now, when you go in to try and release those tissues on the other side, sometimes issues can arise as well. Usually not for very long, it's short periods, but if you have a kink in the hose somewhere, if your fascia is tight and it's holding on to some area very tightly and it's not allowing fluid to flow, and then all of a sudden you go in and you release that fascia, all of a sudden those toxins get to flush
Yes.
out. And then if they've been holding on to toxins for who knows how long in that one area, and then all of a sudden they're released, immune system kicks in, and sometimes folks have immune responses.
Almost like a Herx reaction, almost like an actual full blown detox reaction.
Yeah.
I know when I went for certification for the Yin Yoga certification, it was a 3-day event. And I mean, there were times where we spent hours upon hour doing these Yin Yoga stretches and holding and breathing. I was sick all day on Monday, but I saw it as a win because I knew my body opened up in more areas than I could even count. I was feeling it in the class. I was just feeling things open like a waterfall. I mean, you could just like the hose, like you felt the hose on kink,
Yes.
and then you all of a sudden felt it just fly down your leg or
Yes.
fly down your arm, and it was just like, wow.
Uh-huh.
And it was almost like could make you dizzy in the beginning, and then you drink plenty of water. But that Monday, because of 3 days, I mean, no one's really going to do what I did. You know what
For
I mean?
3
But
days in a
because of
row,
3
right.
days, you know what I mean? But that was proof in the pudding that, yes, all those toxins were leaving my body. Now, by Tuesday, I did all the things. I took some activated charcoal. I took salt baths. I drank all my water. I rested. I mean, I didn't do anything. And I felt better by Tuesday. I didn't just feel better, though. I felt great by Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was like a bounce back.
Right.
And then even the functional medicine doctor is saying, okay, I know what I'm doing is helping you, but what you are doing is helping you. Like, I don't think she has said, I don't think you realize the impact that your daily breath work, your daily meditation, your daily, I do 30 to 45 minutes a day of Yin Yoga stretching.
Right.
Now I've started to do, a little bit of a more active yoga movements. I walk every day for my lymphatic system. I take salt baths. And she said, I don't think you realize actually how much of that has improved this situation.
Yes.
And if I wasn't doing my part with what she's doing, she doesn't know if I would be okay or if I would be improving.
Right.
Right.
Because there's so much more to the story. There's so many other systems that are
Absolutely
affecting whatever symptom you're having.
Sadly, I mean, I'm going to a functional medicine doctor. She's absolutely remarkable. I love her. And she does recommend a lot of modalities like that. In fact, she refers clients to me for nutrition. But sadly, when we go to the doctor, the typical traditional medicine doctor, none of this would be a conversation.
Right.
Maybe they would say you need to be more active. But what does that mean? I could go and sign up for CrossFit. And in my circumstance last March, if I would have signed up, this is nothing against CrossFit. I'm just saying if I would have signed up for a HIIT style workout, I don't know if I would be okay right now.
Could have potentially made the problem worse.
Oh, 1,000 times worse, I
Right.
think. If I was getting tighter and tighter and kinking the hose more and more.
If that hose is already kinked, and then you just continue to do
Worse and worse.
activating strength building.
Yes.
To make it stronger.
Yes. So you have stepped me through all of these phases, the breath work, so that we can kind of get my nervous system calmed down, not kind of, but we can start, calming it down there. As far as the circulatory system and the immune system, what do you feel like is the most beneficial thing? Is it the breath work? Is it the movements? Is it the stretch holds? Is it all of it combined? I mean, what do you feel like really makes the biggest difference with folks?
So something I'm really passionate about, and this gets into those higher layers of the original model I mentioned, the Panchamaya. I'm really fascinated about the nervous system.
Okay.
Because that includes the mind and the emotions and how that affects all of these other systems. It's really complex. And I think it looks different for every person who's going to go down this journey, because we all have different bodies. We have different experiences. We have different ways that our fascia has chosen to hold itself.
Yes.
Right. So someone who experiences a lot of tightness in their right shoulder, that might be their problem. Another person might experience it in their left hip.
Right.
It all just depends on
Right.
your very, very particular and unique experience in life. So all of them are important. The movement is important. The releasing is important. The breathing is important. It just depends on your particular case.
Right.
So
What your issues are.
exactly.
But to me, it sounds like fascia.
Mhm.
If you work on the fascia, like I'm underlining it on my page right now, because it's kind of like hovering over all of these other systems.
Yep.
So if you don't get that fascia released, I don't know that you'll really ever get the benefit, the circulatory benefit,
Yes.
and then does the nervous system get the impact that it could? So it's like really, I think, honing in on that fascia, which requires some breath work to really get the body to calm down,
Yeah.
to truly be able to release the fascia.
Right.
But I believe that connection with the mind, like you're saying, and the emotions plays a very big role, because as you release that fascia and the body becomes like almost like less acidic because you're not holding so much tension all the time, you can actually transform, honest to goodness, your personality. I want to end this segment, and we'll go in the next segment, with a few more details. But I want to end this segment with something that I felt, I just cannot believe this change. But John and I have gone on a couple vacations, 2 different vacations since I've gone through this process. And what I can tell you is this last vacation, we took my parents, and even my parents were like, Debbie, you are so vibrant. What are you drinking? Like, what are you doing? And John said, oh, it's the salt bath. And I'm like, well, I don't know if it's the salt bath. I just feel good. I feel really good. I feel very calm. I feel very stable. I feel very happy. And we kind of had a challenging circumstance going on in February when we went on vacation. And so we took the stress with us, but I didn't bring it in my body. I just knew it was going on, and I was just dealing with it. But I was jumping around and I was dancing. And in 10 years of a relationship with my husband, I have never danced. Like, I don't just run around the room dancing. He is a great dancer. I don't dance. Like, I'll slow dance with him, but I don't like quickly, I don't know. I don't dance. And so I have danced in front of my husband, I don't even know how many times, to the point where he will start blushing and just be like laughing like, Debbie, like he's not used to me just like cutting loose.
Right.
He's the funny one and I'm the serious one, and we're like yin and yang to each other. Well, lately it's been totally different, and he is just like, wow. Like, I legitimately am unlocked. Like, and it's not just my body, it is truly my mind. Like, I am calm and I am cool and I am collected because of what I'm doing. And I'm just refreshed by it. And I'm just taking life a lot lighter than what I did. So when I see people really hurting with anxiety, with trauma, with just chronic daily fatigue that's just coming from bearing burden, I start to look at them from a structural standpoint. Now, not that I didn't before, but now I'm like looking at them like, I know I'm doing their nutrition, but I should probably take them in the yoga room and release their chest and their psoas and start to talk to them about their body. Right. Because I can just see we can only do so much with their food. We got to get their body released. So I want to, maybe close with that on this last segment. But for more information on working with Rachel Jones at Integrity Training Systems or myself for nutrition, take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com or call us at 636-299-2208. And also for gluten-free, dairy-free, nutrient-dense baked goods delivered to your door, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. Everybody, this is Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. I am in the studio with yoga therapist Rachel Jones. She is a private yoga therapist at Integrity Training Systems. working with our clients to release fascia, to calm the nervous system, to improve circulation, to help with better flexibility. And last segment, I was just talking about that release in my mind. Because I've released my body, I've actually changed my personality. I don't know. I was this way at one point in my life. I can remember being a cheerleader in high school and just being jumpy and giddy and just like, but something happened. Of course, I had to work a lot of hours. I had to take on a lot of stress. And, you own 2 businesses. You're a pretty serious person, but I don't know. Something's changed in my mind. Because I've changed my body, I've been able to change my mind. And I think it's obviously going to go vice versa too. I'd really like for you to open that up a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to. This is what I'm very interested in. So just like we were speaking about how toxins can get stuck in the body because fascia's kinking the hose and holding the lymphatic fluids, nervous system is still involved here. So nervous system operates, are we safe or are we in danger? And how do we have to feel about that? And how do we have to operate like that? How do we have to operate about that? So nervous system's job is just to detect, are we in danger? Are we safe? And then change something about that. So emotions get triggered from that, thoughts get triggered from that, and then bodily movements get triggered from that. So you've ever heard the phrase fight, flight, freeze. That's what happens. That's
right.
What that is. And those all of the emotions and thoughts that come along with that also get triggered in the body. So when we go throughout our days and live our lives however we do and take on the stress however we do day after day, those emotions and those thoughts also can get stuck in the tissues, just like the toxins from the lymphatic fluids can as well.
Yes.
It's all triggered under the same reaction. So it's important in both directions. So if you're going in to release your fascia, it's important to take the nervous system into account with that breath that we were talking about.
Yes.
So if your nervous system is still feeling very agitated, very heightened, dysregulated in whatever way. So if you come in from a stressful day of work and you're like, okay, I'm about to go release my fascia really quick, just sit down and try and roll out years of stress.
Yes.
It's probably not going to work very well.
Right. Could seize up even more.
More. Right. Because when we go and attack those spots of stress in our body, small things like, scrunching your facial muscles or holding your breath or tightening your stomach, when we feel things of stress, those little tiny reactions, those start to kick on.
Yes.
And that's the nervous system saying, hey, I don't like this. We need to get away from this. We need to stop going towards stress. We're trying to be safe.
I will tell you, and I want you to go right back to this, during this process of releasing the swelling in my lower belly, when a stressful circumstance comes on, I feel it hit my stomach like I've never felt it before. Before, I don't think I ever recognized what it was doing.
Right.
I feel it swell my stomach. So there's a structural component that I'm swelling because I'm blocked, because I'm sitting all day. But the stress, I can feel it hit it, and it makes me mad. I'm like, no. I've taken classes. I've done breathing. You are not making this worse for me.
Right.
So I can genuinely feel it.
Exactly. And that's what this process is about, is bringing the mind online when those triggers of stress happen.
Yes.
When we get triggers of stress all day long.
Yes.
But if the mind's not conscious of it and it's choosing just to ignore it, we're not aware of what's happening every day. So a lot of this process is slowing down and paying great attention to your body and to the way your nervous system and to the way that it reacts. And it's a very slow game. It's a very hard game, but it's possible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, releasing the emotions, if it's just like that kink in the hose with the fascia, that's going to eventually lead to disease if you are not releasing those toxins, okay? It's going to eventually cause disease if you're not letting your blood flow like it should, right? But it's going to actually end up eventually causing disease if you're not releasing those emotions. If they stay trapped in my stomach and my stomach continues to grow, I continue to have issues with that area because I keep trapping those emotions in that area, I'm going to end up with a disease.
Yeah, exactly.
So releasing my fascia, handling the breath work, to some extent, is allowing me the opportunity to release the emotions.
Yeah, then this is interesting stuff. There's a lot of work around this right now, and it's essentially called polyvagal theory.
Yes, that is what we were going to talk about today,
Yeah.
which we'll be doing that next show. I mean, I have like a whole stack of papers, but we just have so much good stuff to talk about.
There's a lot.
Yes, but absolutely. Let's just touch on it. We have basically 2.5 minutes. Touch on it and just know we have a show coming on that.
Yeah, sure. So, the stress goes in both directions. You get stress, nervous system says, okay, let's take care of that. Body reacts in a certain way. And if your body reacts in that way over years of time, it remembers those triggers of stress. So if you go into a session and try to release those little areas of stress that have been triggered your entire life, and you try to release them, nervous system gets hit again and says, oh, I remember when we felt that last time. What was that? Let's feel that again. And so sometimes you can actually unlock the emotion from doing body work. So it goes in both directions, from the mind to the body, but also from the body to the mind. But that's also very helpful in processing those leftover emotions that weren't being tended to before.
Exactly. Or discovering and unlocking maybe trauma and finding a way to open up and releasing. There's sometimes people spend so many years harboring trauma inside their body, never really actually dealing with it, never allowing it to come to the surface. And that trauma truly manifests a disease. And it can be a life-altering, life-threatening disease, And so the reality is that so much of this is, it's such a game-changing way to improve your health. Now, what I do also want to mention is just overall, improving flexibility, protecting the joints. If you could touch for a minute just on, just what releasing your fascia can do to just helping you to be able to get up and down better.
Absolutely. So, when we put the body in a particular shape, it gets really good at doing that shape. Our bodies are very adaptable. So if we tell our bodies to take the shape of sitting in a desk for 8 hours a day, 30 years of our life, it's going to get really good at doing that.
Right.
It gets so good at doing that it starts to lose the ability to do other things, like reach your arm over your head, or cross your legs, or stand up straight, or extend your legs straight, or reach your toes. So it loses the ability to do those things. When we lose that ability, we're not able to live our lives properly. We're not able to move. We're not able to, and when we're not able to move, we're not able to feel either, because nervous system is there too.
Yes.
So it really it limits our perception of how we're living in the world.
And we just can't be accepting of these limitations. We can't just say, oh, well, I have that back issue, or I have that neck issue, or I have this, or I have that. I'm here to say I'm about to turn 48 years old. I have opened my body up in a way that I didn't even think was possible. If it is possible for me as a fitness instructor, and have been for over 20 years, then it's possible for anyone, and if it's not working with us at Integrity, then find someone that you can work with. But this goes beyond just taking a yoga class. Taking a yoga class is fantastic. We love Detox Yoga. They're right next door to us. They're amazing people, and the classes are absolutely awesome. But what Rachel's doing is transforming a person on an individualized basis, and we really appreciate what you do at Integrity, Rachel. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This is great information. We'll plan in a couple of weeks to come back and kind of talk more about that. This last segment, kind of what we're discussing, and get into a lot more detail on that. For more information on maybe having a one-on-one session with Rachel and going through the process that I've gone through, you can take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. And also don't forget to take a look at more information on a 6-month nutrition program with myself or our online master's program. and for gluten-free, dairy-free, nutrient-dense baked goods delivered to your door, you can take a look at sophiesbakery.com. Thank you so much for listening today, and God bless you.